I was drink.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. We're on YouTube again. Yay.
We're live on YouTube.
We are live on YouTube. Yeah, so we'll be more specific to that. We took a week off because our overlords at YouTube decided that they were gonna put us in timeout for a week. That it is what it is. We got it sorted out. We did 20 Our Fathers and 15 Hail Marys, and
No, Dave does the
did the decade of rosaries and stuff. So it is what it is. Okay. Anyways,
David has to do the training for everybody. So
right. Tell me that somebody at YouTube running the thing doesn't have military experience without actually telling me that. You need to get on there and do your EO and sharps training.
I did for everybody.
Now, this is Nerd Sports episode 186. Chris is going to be along later.
We have Max, I guess.
Yeah, we got Max ish.
Sort of.
Max adjacent. Like he's speaking from the shadows. I just hope that it's not campy this week, like that really bad Billy Zane movie, The Shadow. Remember that?
Billy Zane wasn't in that one. He was in The Phantom.
Oh, The Phantom. That's right. Right.
The Shadow
was The Shadow. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Okay, so we do have a little bit of news this week for baseball. Shohei Ohtani, if for those of you who watched or paid attention to the World Series, notice that he didn't do much of anything in the World Series. And he later came out and said that, I was pressing too hard. I was trying too hard because he didn't know if this kind of environment would ever happen for him again. Because, he years of being beat down in a loser organization. We're not going to name any names, but we're looking at you, Anaheim. Anyway, he slid into second base in an attempt to steal one night and dislocated his left shoulder. He underwent surgery for that today to repair the torn labium. Not to be confused with the labia that most of the fans from LA have.
Or don't have.
No, they all have one, and most of them have sand in it. Sorry. I said most, not all. So you know who you are, dork. Anyways, he underwent surgery today. The doctor said that the procedure went spectacularly well, and that he will be ready for spring training. So, yay! Look for Ohtani to take the mound again next year. He didn't do any of that this year, obviously, because he was already having. He was just coming back off of that Tommy John surgery. But hey, you can swing a bat. You just can't throw a ball real well. So, anyways, digressing. It really hasn't been a ton of baseball news over the last week.
I mean, it happens. We get a little bit of trades. Starting rumors and mostly rumors.
The big thing, one of the big things that they're talking about is Blake Snell rather. He is the he's the he pitched for the Giants last year. He coming off of a second Cy Young Award season last season. He went into the free agency expecting to choose between a number of multi-year offers. If I remember right, he's represented by Scott Boras. Scott Boras his batting average last offseason wasn't that great as far as huge contracts are concerned. But he had to wait until mid-March to sign a 2-year, $62 million deal with the Giants. That included $30 million player option for 2025. So if he chose to exercise that option for the 25 season, he was going to get a guaranteed $30 million. So apparently he's now opting to not exercise that option, so he's going to be testing the free agent market again. May the odds ever be in your favor, sir. I know that there are certainly a lot of ball clubs out there that are looking to bolster their starting rotation, that are willing to, pay that multi-year deal that takes it out past 2 years. We'll see what happens, though. The hot stove usually fires up about December anyway, whenever the winter meetings start to take place. But like I said, we'll see what happens.
You won't know until like what?
Well, the winter meetings literally take place in December. So
yeah.
But right now, I mean, there's
like rumors who's going where.
Well, I mean, right now it's just speculation. So
yeah.
It's not like there's this huge sweepstakes for a lot of these high-profile free agents out there. The closest one that you could say that there would be a sweepstakes for would possibly be named, and not named, Juan Soto, coming off that good year with the Yankees where they fell short, woefully short in the. I say woefully, like it was a disappointment for me. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. The joyous of joys when the Yankees fell.
Just say they dropped the ball.
Now, look, man, I'm not going to throw Aaron Judge. No. Let me finish. I'm not going to throw Aaron Judge in the entire fifth inning under the bus. Just not going to do that right now.
I mean, the whole team's like crapshoot. They did. I hand it to this way. They did make it to the World Series, which is difficult as it can be.
Yeah,
but once you get there, you show up. They only won one game.
Yeah, they did. And when you look at who they did it against, yes, it was against the eventual world champion Dodgers. Well, it kind of you really didn't have much of a choice to win that game. But they did it against the Dodgers, who were in the middle. I mean, it basically was a bullpen game for them. They got one. They got one in the third inning out of their starter, and then the rest of the way it was like 5 or 6 different pitchers coming out of their bullpen. So it was almost like a pitching reset day. So, I mean, game 4, they took it. Good for them. Woo woo. Game 5, the next night, the starter for the Dodgers was on point, and then Walker Burrell comes in there, and dude, he just shut him down. Absolutely shut him down. And the bats came alive when they needed to. The Yankees defense just absolutely crapped the bed. But I mean, we're not here to rehash the World Series, although I wouldn't mind doing it. Just But one of the other big free agents that are going to be out there on the market this offseason is going to be Alex Bregman from the Astros. The Red Sox are heavily rumored right now to be in deep negotiations trying to land him. The Astros did submit a qualifying offer. Now, if he decides to not accept their qualifying offer and he signs somewhere else, the Astros they're going to get a compensatory draft pick. So I think it's like a 4th round draft pick or something like that, if I remember correctly. But
whose kids are that?
Do what?
Y'all don't hear that in the background?
Oh, I do.
Okay. Is that on your end or?
It's not on my end.
Max?
Is that on your end, bud?
What's up?
The kid noises, are they on your end?
Hey. Kid noises?
Yeah.
I don't hear any.
It's gotta
whoa! Hold on a second here. Before the crowd takes us the wrong way, I don't have a bunch of kids in my house
Max,
or nothing like that.
Stop.
But I should
No,
have.
that's not what we're saying, dude. You got to dial it back, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously, dial it back, son. We're just asking about background noise. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, there's like kids playing in the background.
I don't know.
I can hear it.
No, there's no children.
Okay.
You can hear kids right now?
No.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Colin, is there anybody over there? No.
Hold on. Let me try some stuff. I'm curious.
Our first week back on YouTube Live.
Oh,
we're,
Hey, you good, sir.
we're do what?
I'm
now?
testing everybody's, okay?
Hey, I'm doing a live.
It was Max.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
That's all we were
Yours.
asking about, man. We weren't
Yeah.
we weren't implying anything at all. Like, no. But Alex Bregman,
With these in my ears, I can hear nothing but you guys.
yeah, and that's
Oh.
fine. That's the way you want it. But Alex Bregman is good. He's right now probably the hottest commodity on the free agent market right now. He's been playing third base his entire career for the Astros. They submitted they tendered a qualifying offer for him. If he chooses to decline it, they'll get a compensatory draft pick if he signs somewhere else. But he was his
What is that? What's that draft up to? What did they get?
well,
Like
it's just like a
fourth
fourth
round?
round draft pick. Yeah, it's like the fourth round or something. But they'll get an extra pick during the draft, kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
But the Red Sox are heavily rumored to be in some serious contract negotiations with him, trying to, figure out where he's going to be at, what he wants, if they can afford to do it, that kind of a thing. Now, as far as the Red Sox being a fit for Alex Bregman, he's got a swing that's I want to say this, but it's almost like an overused platitude. He's got a swing that's almost tailor-made for Fenway Park because he is a right-handed hitter. And when he pulls, he could pepper the wall all day long. As long as he can elevate, he can get him up and over the monster. But he also has opposite field power. So he's got that. He's got Pesky's pole over there in right field. But we've already got a third baseman in the form of Rafael Devers. Now, we could either do one of two things. Leave Rafael Devers in the hot corner and do what Alex Bregman is rumored to have told his management team is that he's willing to move to second base. If he moves to second base, then that shores up the middle of the infield, gives us a definite upgrade in defensive power because since Dustin Pedroia left, the Red Sox, their one glaring deficiency as far as defensively is concerned has been second base. If Bregman moves over to second, awesome. But
You know what?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
On
You
the
know
flip side, go speak.
Sorry. This is totally off topic, but I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder if we can get the train guy from Minute Maid Park.
I don't know. I doubt it. And that's just because I don't think he's necessarily represented by an agent. So there's no way to contact him. I mean, the only reason that he would possibly give an interview to a network or something like that is because they, the requesting entity reached out to the team themselves. And being as we're not a credentialed.
Yeah. I'm going to fix that in January.
We don't have credentials. So, we're just a podcast kind of a thing. So I don't know. But anyways, if on the flip side, if Alex Bregman stays at third and the Red Sox do sign him, well, they put him in the hot corner. Well, what are we going to do with Rafael Devers? There's Rafael Devers he's strong as far as his arm is concerned. But the thing of it is that he commits a ton of errors at third base.
Is it just due to his injuries? Because he's been injured a couple of times.
He does. He's been bitten by the injury bug a lot. And I don't think it's because of his injuries. I just think that for whatever, it might be just one of those intangible, just intangible factors where nobody can quite put their finger on it, because it's not for a lack of talent. Okay. It may be his positioning. It may be just a mechanical breakdown, which that falls on him and the third base coach, for the infielders. I'm not sure. But, at the end of the day, I personally, I would like to see Alex Bregman go to the Red Sox. Being as the Astros are kind of my JV team, I wouldn't mind seeing him stay in Houston. I know that Jose Altuve has been very vocal about wanting the ownership group to re-sign Bregman. But the Astros are kind of faced with kind of a payroll decision, because Kyle Tucker, he's coming up into the last year of a contract. So they're wanting to avoid arbitration with him. And they're maybe wanting to try to give him a contract extension. But, he's going to want to get paid. So,
well, Houston's one of the lower leagues, right?
Well, they're a small market team, yeah. So, the problem with, jacking your payroll through the roof to try to stay on par with these large market teams is that somebody's got to come up with the money. Yeah. So, what we're looking at is,
how does the high market team actually happen? I mean, we know New York
region. The region that they're given as far as coverage for TV, coverage for radio. It's, because Boston, basically, the Red Sox have the entirety of New England, which as far as the grand scheme of things here in Texas, seems like a couple of counties. But, as far as baseball is concerned, you think about the cost of living in that area, they're able to charge premium prices for all of their games. Because you notice, if you try to buy tickets for a regular season game, the ticket prices are going to vary depending on who's in town.
Yeah.
So, for example, the game that I took you to, David, those nosebleed seats cost me $7 a piece.
Yeah.
Okay. Those nosebleed seats for the Yankees or for the Sox or for the Dodgers, those tickets would probably cost anywhere from $20 to $30 a piece. And that's just because of revenue sharing. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where, the money's got to come from somewhere. And unfortunately, and the people in Boston, the people in New York City, they can attest to this. The people in Los Angeles can attest to this. When your payroll goes north of $200 million, you can guarantee you're going to see an increase in ticket prices for the following year.
But yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why the Yankees. That's one of the reasons why the Yankees tickets are just so damn expensive. One, the cost of living in New York City is through the roof. I mean, it's almost untenable, right? For example, let's just take random state. Let's just take Virginia, like the Alexandria area, whether it be Langley or what have you. Right there in the Beltway. Somebody who's making $126,000 a year, they might not have the same quality of life as, say, somebody who makes $120,000 to $126,000 a year here. Yeah. Specifically Brazoria County, where I live in Texas. So, my house is valued at, I think it's $460,000. Okay. Smaller houses in the in the Beltway will be north of that number. So you're going to have, the cost of living is going to be higher. One, you're in a more concentrated area. Two, property taxes are going to jack things up because, government. But, so the one thing that Texas teams, whether they be the Stars, the Rockets, the Mavericks, the Cowboys, the Texans, or the Rangers or the Astros, right? The one thing that the professional teams in the state of Texas have as far as an advantage trying to sign free agents and things like that is that there's no state income tax here. Okay. So they can afford to pay what would seem like a lesser contract as far as monetarily is concerned, but they're actually going to keep more of that money because they're not having to pay the state that they're going to play in as far as residence is concerned. It's almost like being in the, like when we were in the military, your home record was Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have to fill out at tax time. You just did your federal taxes. You didn't have to worry about state taxes because Texas doesn't have state tax.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. People in Ohio, they do. People in Oklahoma, they do. So, there's a lot of different factors that go into that, but I think ultimately wherever Bregman is going to end up, he's going to end up seeing a considerable increase in pay. Now, whether or not he's a good fit for that system, I'm not entirely sure. Don't look for Alex Bregman to go to the Yankees at all. I think that's just I think that's a bit of a, I think it's a bit of a stretch, right? Even for Brian Cashman, who's the general manager of the Yankees, because apparently the 2017 Astros still live rent free in his head. So I don't look for him to. I mean, yeah, I know that he signed Garrett Cole, and Garrett Cole was a part of that squad, but I don't look for him to transplant any other members of that team to the Yankees, even if he can get them at a premium discount. But right now, I mean, yeah, it's a toss up between Houston and Boston as far as where Alex Bregman's going to land. It's just, what are they going to do with him if he decides to go to Boston? Is he going to move to second base? And if he does, how well is he going to adapt to that position? Because I mean, it's a different type of mindset. It's a different fielding dynamic going from second to third, and vice versa. And the oddity of all of the infield positions is obviously going to be first base, because you're basically playing with a modified catcher's mitt. But but that's going to be definitely, I think that's going to be the next to Juan Soto, that's going to be the free agent to watch this offseason, to see where he goes and how much he gets. Because it could very well be that, wherever they end up going and however much they end up signing for is going to dictate the value for the rest of the players in those respective positions, which is usually the way that it goes anyway. You'll see kind of a second tier player sign for a big contract with a lot of years on it for, as somewhere. And then you get your high profile guy that goes, I'm better than he is. Consistently, statistically, I've got more gold gloves, MVPs, blah, 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 batting titles. I'm worth more than he is on paper. You saw how much he made. I want more, So I think we might see one of those odd years where the high profile player ends up going first, at finding a new home or finding, getting an extension in their home, before you start seeing some of these smaller pieces fall off the board. And if it does, great. I think that might be the great reset that the free agent market's been needing for a few years. It just, last year when Shohei Ohtani signed that $700 million contract, that was just too big of a domino right there. It was too big of a contract. I mean, yeah, I know he backloaded it or whatever to help them avoid having to pay that salary penalty, or that luxury tax penalty, but $700. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of skill set you bring. The fans don't deserve to have to pay those ticket prices so you can pay that guy's contract. Nobody's worth that, worth that much. But moving on from baseball, the NASCAR, the three main touring series for NASCAR, or the three national touring series for NASCAR, finished their 2024 season this weekend. All three of them finished in Phoenix. That would be the Craftsman Truck. That would be the Xfinity Series, and that would also be the NASCAR Cup Series. There was a lot of storylines going around. A lot of reasons to cheer, and there were some reasons to boo. Absolutely, 100%. Because let's be honest, it's not a NASCAR season without controversy. So, one of the more notable storylines, Martin Truex Jr. He made his Cup debut in 2004 with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, and when he ran the number one Bass Pro Shops car. This was his 20th year in Cup. He announced, I think about halfway through the season, that this was going to be his last, full-time season. He was going to take a step back because, he wanted to be able to spend more time with family, just really kind of figure out where his life was going to go. Because, as it is, he's not even married right now. So, and he's been racing for the last 20 years. Like I said, he debuted in 2004, and, so he put in his full 20, and good for him. It was funny because, Bass Pro has been his sponsor forever in the Cup Series. Now, NASCAR officials, they often chalk off numbers during pre-race procedures to mark the spots where the cars should line up. Now, for Martin Truex Jr.'s last Cup Series race as a full-time competitor, the NASCAR officials substituted 19 on the asphalt. They just simply wrote "Gone Fishing" in front of where his car should be parked. So, which I thought was kind of a nice touch considering who his sponsor is. Martin Truex Jr. being from New Jersey, you wouldn't think guys from Jersey would be big outdoorsmen, but he is a huge proponent of fishing, hunting, both with rifles and shotguns and bow. The dude's just an avid or outdoorsman. I cannot, it goes, going back and watching him race over the last 20 years has been kind of a gift, so to speak. He's definitely made for, some memorable finishes. He did win a points championship a few years ago. He's got a part-time schedule lined out for next year as well. He's also made an arrangement to run in next season's opener, the Daytona 500. But he said he's just ready to go wind down, which I totally get. Don't look for him to be as competitive though next season, because you'll see, and you'll be able to talk to a lot of race car drivers about this. When you step away from the car for any considerable amount of time and you're not in that life doing that grind every day, every week, it's a perishable skill. It's kind of like, land navigation, right? If you don't do it for a while, it's not that you forget how, it's just, you kind of lose some of the finer points and the finessing on, how the car is supposed to handle. And a lot of guys that drove with the, I think they were called the F bodies, or the C bodies. I can't remember what they're called, but the previous generation of race car prior to that god awful travesty, even the Car of Tomorrow, and when they finally took that stupid looking wing off and put spoilers back in the cars, those cars predominantly drove off of the right, or off the right rear, right? Just because the way that the suspension was set up, the way that the aero packages were set up on those cars, they were able to hang that right rear out and make the car handle on entrance and on exit through the turns. and they were able to accumulate a lot of wins. Jimmy Johnson drove off the right rear for years, and that's how he became a 7-time Cup champion. Including that run of 5 consecutive championships. Kyle Busch, the same thing. His streak of 19 consecutive seasons with at least one victory was snapped yesterday. I mean, he had a terrible year. Terrible. Jimmy Johnson, he's been driving a part-time schedule for the team that he owns with Richard Petty this year, Legacy Motor Club. And he's had some abysmal, like embarrassing results. And it's just because the cars drive differently. He's not able to hang that right rear out. He's having to learn how to drive off the right front. All right. So, these guys, the older guys, they were used to driving a looser race car. Hold on, I got him. There we go. Good evening, Mr. Jacket. How's it going today, sir?
See him.
Doing pretty good.
Well, I heard that telltale pop, so I was like, "Oh, I'm going to scroll down." Right now, we're going over the NASCAR weekend. The 2024 season just came to an end in Phoenix. The Truck Series guys finished their season on Friday. Let me get that page pulled up here. Craftsman Truck. Now, Ty Majeski, he won the race. Ford had a big weekend. They won 2 out of the 3 championships this weekend. And I don't know that they're going to win the manufacturer's championship, but they're definitely going to give, I think it's Chevy, a run for their money, because Toyota, they had a couple of wins scattered here and there, but they didn't accumulate nearly as many wins as Ford and Chevy did. So, plus there's also talk that there's going to be a 4th manufacturer coming in next year, whether it be Kia or Honda or something like that. I mean, Toyota was trying to talk Kia out of it a couple of years ago, saying like that, it's a lot of money and time. Development's going to be a pain. You're going to be at least 5-6 years before you can even put a car on the track. That kind of it just, your basic corporate blocking kind of a thing. But Ty Majeski drove the 98 Ford F-150 to victory lane and championship lane on Friday night for the Truck Series guys. The Xfinity race, I was incredibly happy for. Justin Allgaier on Saturday night. He didn't win the race. But he was the top finishing championship 4 contender for the Xfinity Series. Justin Allgaier drives the number 7 Brandt Chevy Camaro for Junior Motorsports. So he's Dale Jr.'s driver. This kid has been, he's a kid, but he's been driving in the Xfinity Series for, I don't know, years. Seventh attempt or 7th time that he's been able to qualify for the championship race. He finally sealed the deal, right? It was a very, very, very popular win. People were coming up to him out on the cool down lap, putting donuts on his door, just kind of a way of saying, hey, congrats, that kind of a thing. To say that he burned it down. Oh, he burned it down. His victory burnout, both of his rear tires exploded. They had to jack his car up and put brand new rear tires on it just so he can wheel it over to the championship stand for the points for the points championship trophy presentation. So, and of course Dale Jr. was there, and so was his sister Kelly, who co-owns the team with him. There are a lot of people say that she's the real boss. Yeah, I don't think he would argue with you either. But you could definitely tell that there was an incredible amount of pride just riding off of those shoulders. So congratulations to Justin Allgaier this weekend. Now, as far as the Cup Series guys go, this was the unpopular win. And the reason why it was the unpopular win, Joey Logano took home the points championship. This is his third championship. It's also the third consecutive points championship for Roger Penske Racing. Now, Joey Logano should have, all intents and purposes, not even been eligible to race for the championship. He was out after the cutoff race at the Charlotte, the Roval at Charlotte about a month ago. However, NASCAR, being NASCAR, couldn't very well let Roger Penske not race for a championship. At least that's the hill I'm choosing to die on. They disqualified Alex Bowman, which would have put all 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers in the round of 8. Okay. 2 hours after the race was over, NASCAR said, "Hey, Alex Bowman, your car's underweight and you are now disqualified. You don't get to move on." All right, well, now who gets to move up? Oh, hey, we're going to call Joey Logano. Joey Logano was already at home. Him and his wife had already settled and wrapped their heads around the fact that he was not going to run for a championship for the rest of the year. I mean, he's still going to go to the races, but he wasn't eligible to run for the Cup. NASCAR put him in there. They installed him into the round of 8. What happens? The very next week, he goes out and wins the race and punches his ticket to qualify for the race in Phoenix. Roger Penske ended up having 2 cars in the championship 4. It was Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, both of those for Roger Penske Racing. You had Tyler Reddick for 2311, and then you had William Byron running for Hendrick Motorsports. William Byron, his car was good enough to hang out around the top 3. It just wasn't good enough to win. Both of those both of those Penske Racing cars, absolute hot rods. I mean, when they got out in front of everybody, they just took off. And for a while there, with the laps winding down, Ryan Blaney was 1/10 to 2/10 faster every lap than Joey Logano was, and he was reeling him in. And he just ran out of time. That's all it is to it. He just ran out of time. He overdrove a corner, lost a ton of his momentum, and just couldn't gather it back up in time. And Joey Logano just set sail. And all he had to do was just hit his marks, and he did. And he drove his way into a third Cup championship. I don't think I've made it any secret on this show. I'm not a Joey Logano fan, like, at all. I think that he has, by virtue of who he drives for, I think he has a lot of things put in front of him. But that could just be chalked up as part of the black helicopter crowd. It's the conspiracy theory crowd that just seems to follow NASCAR week to week. So, but as long as he represents the sport well during the off season, he doesn't make any stupid mistakes. He's going to come back. He's going to start the year next year at Daytona as the defending Points Cup champion. He's going to have a target on his back. That's 100%. So a lot of these drivers that see, that kind of felt like their seasons were prematurely cut short, like Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin, probably, I think he's coming back next year. There's been no rumor of him being, hanging it up or anything like that. I do think Denny Hamlin's going to run into a sponsorship issue coming into next year, because I think FedEx said something about not wanting to be his primary sponsor anymore. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But you're gonna see a lot of guys that are going to be willing to take a lot of chances next year just to be able to put themselves in position to win and get into the playoffs. And then next year's playoffs are going to be an absolute just bare knuckle fight. I mean, all the way down to the end in Phoenix again next year. So it's going to be an interesting season. It's kind of hard to believe that this whole thing kicked off in February this year. So it's already over. So right now we got the three, the big three that are going right now are hockey, basketball, and football. So we're just going to have to contend be content with that. But speaking of football, that is an amazing, amazing segue. I know. Good job, me. Right?
It's almost like you planned it that way.
It is. Right now, the American football game that happens to be taking place in Los Angeles, the Fish of Miami are leading 10-0. And the only one right now that can smile about that game is Colin, because he was the only one that picked Miami.
You know what's funny about this game, though?
What's that?
If Miami loses, the entire state of Florida lost this weekend.
They did. Yeah, that's right. If they lose, the entire state of Florida will have lost.
Yeah, historical precedent. That's what's sad.
I need this game. I need them to win.
Well, here's the thing. The only other time I could think of that not a state, but an entire city lost in the same week was 2023 when the it was 2023, I think it was, when the Astros beat the Phillies in the World Series. I think it was 23. Yeah, it was 23. Anyway, I mean, that weekend, Philadelphia, not only did they lose the World Series, they lost in the MLS championship. And there was like one other one that was going on at the time. Oh,
It was Flyers, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. Yeah, I was thinking it was hockey. Yeah, because but the regular season had just started for hockey back in back then.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Point is they lost.
Yeah,
That's the important.
The entire city of Philadelphia just burned itself down, which nobody could really tell because most of the dumpsters were alight anyway.
Yeah, they usually fire on that time frame.
Right. Okay, so let's start off with our Week 10 picks. Going back to last Thursday, the Bengals at the Ravens. This one, dude,
1 point difference.
1 point. I mean, the Ravens tried to give this game away.
One stupid point.
The Bengals tried to win this, then the Ravens tried to give it away. Somebody didn't do their job well enough, and the Ravens ended up. Yeah, the Ravens came out on top with that one. Colin was the only one that picked the Bengals on that one. So, I'm not. I really don't even know if I would consider that a loss in the column because.
Yay!
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, it's still a loss.
Ever again, David.
I'm aware it's a loss. I watched the game.
Okay. This next game, David called for a tie.
See, now you know he's getting to get into the NFL because he's getting a little bit feisty in him now.
Right.
I was yelling. Dude, I was yelling.
David called this game for a tie.
I
And
don't that one. That's what's sad.
yeah, I mean, it almost came down to it, but Chris, you picked the Giants. Everybody else picked the Panthers. David picked the tie. So I'm not going to count you, Chris, as having picked up the L on this one because David picked up the double L just by going with the tie. I mean, they might as well have played this game in England where they spell, where they picked up the second L in 1812 anyway.
No, what's sad is I almost won. Just the whole fact.
And I'll tell you the same thing I tell my kids.
Yeah.
Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and atomic bombs.
No, you know what the probability of actually being even in an overtime? Because technically, at one point in time, it was a tie, and they had to go into overtime. So I
Yeah.
take this as a win.
Hey, David. I lost the Bengal game. You can lose this one.
There you go.
Hey, look at that. Preach.
You know how
Great.
hard it is
Nope.
to get an overtime.
Moving
No,
on.
no.
We all, with the exception of Colin, got this game wrong. The
Got-
Patriots at the Bears. The spirit of Mike Ditka was not there at Soldier Field.
That guy let me down.
Ditka let us down. Caleb Williams. Now, here's the thing. There is footage from this game where Caleb Williams is laying on the turf. And not a damn one of his offensive linemen went to go help him up. You know who helped him up? A defensive, a linebacker, actually, or a defensive lineman from New England picked him up and then patted him on the head.
Yeah.
That is not a glaring testimony as to the dysfunction in that locker room right now. I don't know what is.
Yep.
I got it right.
You got it right.
Yeah.
Weird.
Consider this the sunshine, dog's butt. It was your
We are as shocked as you are. Trust me.
I feel
that win literally caused rice patty pickers in North Korea to stop and go, holy shit, the Patriots
what
won.
I feel like
It
I
shocked
remember
the
picking
world.
the Bears for some reason.
Nope. You picked the page. You picked the pads. 100%.
Weird.
Okay. Now,
Right, that's weird.
this next one. This next one. Now, what I want you to remember, Colin, is that this New England pick that you had, it's like
Yeah.
peeing in a pool. You're the only one that
Yeah.
feels it, and it doesn't last very long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody but you picked Buffalo to beat the Colts, and they did that to the tune of 30-20.
I mean, it's a 10-point difference.
I know.
And
This week was not good for me.
this
And
week
it
was not
happens.
good to any of us.
It happens. Now, it could be worse. We all picked Minnesota except for Max. He picked Jacksonville, and the Minnesota kicker sent the Jacksonville Jaguars back into their locker room with a loss. 12-7 was the final on that game.
Still not as good as the one with the
Was there? Did the Vikings have some injured people?
I'm not entirely
Actually,
sure. Yeah,
Yes.
they
Know a
did
lot of people
have some
know this.
injuries, but
The kicker.
the kicker was not among them.
no.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just like, I don't feel like it should be
I
that
think their
close without the
defensive
them
end-
injured people.
I think a couple of their defensive ends
Yeah.
are out.
This okay,
Kicker
so
for the
this next
Vikings
game,
suffers
this
from
next game,
dwarfism,
Colin,
has
this next
autism,
game-
and is blind.
I take
You
this one as a
understand
win.
this, right?
Hold on. Yeah, this next game,
I take this as a win.
you almost there was a decided the wind was coming out of the south, and that's because the vacuum created by Max's butthole watching this game.
Is that what that breeze was?
That's what that breeze was.
I still can't believe they got that close.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, see, when the Broncos came out and they put up 14, I mean, the Chiefs came back and they scored 16 unanswered points, and they had to do it in the second half.
Look,
Mhm.
Okay,
I don't care.
hold,
was
hold
close
on,
enough.
hold on,
If
hold
I have
on.
to take the win, Colin, you have to take the loss.
Huh?
This
Yeah.
one, dude,
It was a good game.
it was a good game. It was, depending on what side you were rooting for, it was kind of heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
Not making
It
any
was,
examples,
it
but
was
I'm-
heart-wrenching.
you know, last night's game. Oh, bro, but
Oh,
we'll get to that. We'll get to last night's game in a minute. The only one that got this next game right was Max. We all picked the Falcons, and he picked the Saints. Now, even though Alvin Kamara had the easiest touchdown he could he would have possibly ever had in his entire career, I mean, that ball was dropped right there in his hands. It was a dime. absolute dime. And he dropped it. Like, what? I mean, at least CD Lamb had the excuse of the lights, or the sunlight blinding him.
Yeah.
You know, Alvin Kamara? No, they're playing in the Superdome.
About that shit.
That happened twice last night.
Well, dude, we're gonna get into Jerry Jones and his obviously progressing case of dementia.
Yeah, especially considering the response he had to the questions.
Yeah. Oh, that was sarcastically classic. All right. So moving on. Chris, you and I were the only ones that got this game right. Niners beat the Bucks. It was the return of Christian McCaffrey. While he did not contribute a lot statistically, his presence alone on the field affected the way that the defense from Tampa Bay approached San Francisco enough where San Francisco got out of Tampa Bay. They left the pirate ship with a 3-point victory. So
Win's a win.
win's a win. Taking that one. We all picked Washington. Max picked Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, the Commanders, honestly, they were due for a loss. I just didn't think it would come at the hands of Pittsburgh. They still have a chokehold on the division, so it is what it is. This one was the no-brainer. Every one of us picked the Chargers. The Chargers just tarred and feathered the Titans 27-17. I like the fact that Jim Harbaugh thinks that he's or Joe Harbaugh, thinks that he's on the roster. He's out there taking warm-up throws from the quarterbacks pregame. I mean, he's got receivers gloves on and everything. I mean,
The delusion is strong with this one.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, all right, go get him, coach, go get him.
I'm motivating the troops,
right, and I'm doing it without a heart attack. I mean, I think
Sandusky Jr. soon to be revealed is.
I think personally what they did is they pulled Leonardo DiCaprio into the locker room the second time he had that cardiac event, and they did that ritual that keeps DiCaprio looking like he's 30.
The Tom Cruise treatment. Gotcha.
Right. Well, I mean, you notice how all of DiCaprio's girlfriends are like 19.
Yeah. What is it? Nothing over 25?
Yeah, something like 26.
That. 26. There you go.
Leonardo Diddy DiCaprio, to be correct.
Right. And how he did not get an Emmy for playing a retard in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, but he had to wait for a bear to rape him to win. I still don't understand that, but I digress.
It's called an Oscar though, but we're getting gymnastics. You don't win an Emmy. The Emmy's for TV.
No, I did say Emmy. You're right.
Did you just get fact checked by David?
I did. I got fact checked.
Are you okay, man? Are you good?
Hey, you know what? I'm actually surprisingly okay with this. I am. I'm surprisingly okay with this because.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be wrong about something, that's what you want to be wrong about.
I mean, if I'm going to be wrong about something, let it be about an industry I care zero about.
It's true.
Like throwing a dog a bone.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Colin. You're just throwing a dog a bone. There you go. Now, David will have to question for the rest of the night and possibly the rest of the week as to whether or not I intentionally threw an inaccurate fact out there.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Oh.
Moving on. We all picked Arizona. I think Aaron Rodgers just needs to go away.
Yeah.
He is not going to be Jesus in cleats. He's not going to be the savior of the New York Jets. He's not going to be the savior for the city of New York. I mean, I think him and Daniel Jones secretly have a bet as to who has the worst stats this year. Like the winner gets to cornhole Shailene Woodley or something. I don't know.
I mean, the experiment is
Gets cornholed by.
we had a whole season with him now, or
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. Who gets to get cornholed by Shailene Woodley? Yeah, so there's that.
Hey, I mean, if that's the conversation we're having,
And so,
I got a potty.
Max, you and Colin
The Diddy potty.
had some very
Or Diddy potty.
misaligned faith
sorry.
in the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay,
Not only did Cooper Rush not do what was expected of him, but Trey Lance was thrown out there.
I had
I-
valid reasoning.
Free quarterback, as you can
I love
imagine,
how Micah
was
Parsons.
thrown out there at one point or
I love
another.
how Micah Parsons approached it post game in the locker room. I mean, he's like, if McCarthy goes somewhere else, he's going to get paid, right? He's going to get that money. It's not about McCarthy though, because I mean, Micah Parsons is talking about these other coaches, these other people on the coaching staff that he would love to lift a trophy for. But I don't think he's got any faith. I think the Mike McCarthy experiment is over in Dallas. I do.
I had reasoning choosing
well,
Dallas.
Was it
When you
something
have a
like
receiver
Dallas
that's
Cowboys.
asking
Go
the
ahead.
owner to put curtains in his stadium.
Well, it's not even curtains.
they
man.
are in the stadium. He just refuses to actually let them be used. There's a shade that you can pull down and cover the sun. He won't allow it because it ruins the view.
Yeah, it just
in the eyes? I mean,
systemically the
Same
Cowboys.
time, as much as CD Lamb wears, he could buy a visor for his fucking face mask and helmet.
Yeah, but when the sun is directly in your face, I don't
sell
care
them
if you're
at
wearing. Listen,
Academy
I don't
and
care.
shit.
I don't care if you're wearing polarized lenses. When the sun is at that angle at that time of day, I don't care what kind of shade you put on, unless you black out that area, which it's not that fucking hard to do.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like, as Jerry Jones sarcastically put, let's tear the damn thing down and build a new one. No, we don't need to go to that extreme, jackass.
We know where the sun is. Where's the moon?
He didn't pay for that damn stadium anyways. The city of Arlington did.
So the city of Arlington's going to continue to pay for that stadium.
Fuck yeah.
But, it
Technically, it is called Jones AT&T
90.
Stadium.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
the Death
Mac,
Star.
Yeah.
I mean, it's where a lot of promising careers go to
What I'm
die.
saying is,
Absolutely.
that was my favorite game, period. I was waiting for members of the fucking crowd to start being quarterback for Dallas at some point. Because we've
Dude,
seen
I mean,
everyone.
They could probably-
$75 on the field. You probably
Shit, we
could.
saw Kenny Pickett.
They could
Jalen
probably
Hurts.
grab. They could probably
Here's
grab
Joe
a random
Montana.
homeless guy.
Here's a deep cut. I'm waiting for the Dallas Cowboys to hold open tryouts, and we get a reincarnation of Vince Papale to come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, they could grab a random homeless guy off the streets and he'd do better.
I swear to God, it reminded me of the I don't know anybody remembers it, but the 1988 season before they drafted Troy Aikman.
with the scabs.
That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Landry.
Strike season.
It
Yeah.
was
Because nobody could figure it out.
These are
The
professional
Chargers
players
were-
getting millions and millions of dollars.
You remember that year the Chargers were surprisingly good, and that's because they were all replacement players.
Mm.
And then the
hilarious.
second that the strike was over and all the professional players came back, San Diego went. I mean, the Chargers went right to the bottom of their division.
For those of you who don't remember the Washington Redskins, they won the Super Bowl that year.
Yep, they did. Yes,
And
quarterback that year, right? Wasn't it?
No. What?
That was Doug Williams.
Oh, was it? Yeah, that's right. It was Doug Williams. I was thinking Riggs for
Well-
some reason. But
And the
Yeah,
whole reason
Doug
why he was
Williams. Well, it
playing,
started out with Jay Schrader, and then Schrader was injured, and Doug Williams ended up coming in throughout
Yeah.
the playoffs.
I
and they
remember
pulled
that.
him out of the prison.
He was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
Not in the
Yeah,
Hall of
I was
Fame,
about to
though.
say that, yeah. But
And he
Doug
was
Williams?
literally plucked out of. He was literally plucked out of prison.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he had it.
That whole, with that movie with Keanu Reeves
No,
called
you're
The
thinking. I
Resort?
know who you're thinking of, but it wasn't Doug Williams.
Yeah, it was. It was
no.
the only. The only reason why I know that is
He
because
was
that whole story was actually that whole story.
I know who you're talking about, but I promise you, it wasn't
made
Doug
into a
Williams.
movie called The Replacements.
Tell you, hey, ceasefire. Tell you what, so that way we're not talking over each other. Both of y'all research it, and then when you figure it out, then you can come in and say who it was. But yes, to that point, the Keanu Reeves,
I'll tell you
when he
within
was
30
playing,
seconds.
when the character that he played, the NFL, there was teams looking at Keanu Reeves, and they were like, "Dude, you're good. Do you want to come try out?" Like they offered him tryouts to play football. Like they thought he was that good. That's John Wick, dude. I'm telling you. But yeah, the problem with the Dallas Cowboys, it starts at the top, and everybody knows it.
That was Tony Robinson. Tony Robinson.
Uh-oh. There it is. I see those shifty little eyes. And fingers are
was
flying on
Burgers,
that
by the way.
keyboard.
Oh shit, you're right. Fuck.
What do you expect?
Just let this be fun for me.
And there it is. All is right with the world again.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, from the top down, man, it's the players aren't buying into the system. They're half-assing it out there. Yes, I do believe that CeeDee Lamb could have made some adjustments and could have had a darker visor put on his helmet. They know that end zone is going to be a problem. They do. It's not like it's the first season that this stadium has been in existence. I mean, even Texas Stadium with the hole in the roof, they had problems with the sun even then.
Yep.
And I don't know. And I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but until Jerry Jones figures it out that he is in the fucking way, and he's got these misaligned, trust. What's the word I'm looking for here?
He's a
Misaligned
control freak.
alliances with these coaches.
He's a
Especially
control
the
freak.
head coach. Especially with like quarterbacks. Dak can be a winning quarterback, just not in Dallas.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, he better be as much as they paid for him.
Pay aside, Dak's got the talent. The coaching systems and the quarterback coaches that he has been subjected to are not conducive to a long, successful career. Because unfortunately, in the NFL, it does not matter what you do during the regular season. Case in point, the Patriots went undefeated all the way to the Super Bowl. Nobody gives a fuck about the undefeated regular season because they lost to the
2007.
Giants. They lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Okay. Nobody cares. In the NFL,
Who they
your
beat as the
career-
last game of the regular season.
Yeah, that's right. They beat the Giants in the last game of the regular season to go 16-0. Yeah, it was 16-0. And then they
It
go
was 15. It was
Yeah.
15-0. Then they had two
then they
playoff
had
games,
the divisional
which they
round,
won, and
then had
obviously
the
they were
champ-
17-0
they had
going
the
into the
NFC.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, they could have they could have been 18-0. So they finished the season 17-1. That one being the Super Bowl. That was the helmet catch game, right?
Yeah.
That was the helmet catch game.
David Tyree.
Yeah. And what's funny, had the New England defensive back not gone in for that tackle, he that ball would have come loose. Because they did
Yep.
like a whole sports science show on it where the defensive back made the tackle and it took just of enough of the momentum off of the y-axis rotation and slowed him down enough coming to the ground to where he was able to trap that ball against his helmet. So
That sucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one of those, hey, look, you just got to throw your hands up and be like, hey, this one was just not meant to be.
Yep.
But in the NFL, your career is measured by your postseason success. Just like it doesn't matter how good of a quarterback Lamar Jackson is, if he can never get past the Chiefs and win the big game, he's just going to be a good quarterback. He's not going to be a championship quarterback.
That was Tony Romo. Romo
Yeah.
could not get out of the regular season. He was great during the regular season. Well,
Yeah.
December.
He couldn't get past the second round.
Yep.
So, it's unfortunate because I mean, Tony Romo, football IQ off the charts, off the charts. I love listening to games that he calls because it's informed. But as far as playoff record goes, nobody cares. He's just another statistical blip in the long line of Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks.
Yep.
This final game, last night's game, Sunday Night Football, we all picked Detroit, but I wanted to be wrong on this game so bad.
It was
So
it was a good game.
The
Fair.
former Acme brick salesman from Katy,
It was
Texas.
a good game.
I mean, when you come back and you're, what did they score? Like 21?
This is the third quarter, and people have given up hope at this point on the lines.
Yeah. You're everybody.
Well,
everybody
the Texans didn't
on the-
score
on the-
at all in the second half.
everybody in the Angry Me thread.
Yeah.
Because I went out to go do something real quick. I was like, I watched the game a little bit, and it was like, oh, this game's over. This game's over. And I was like, I forgot what quarter is it? I looked at, dude, it's the third quarter. They can still come back. He's like, no. I made mistakes.
Realistically, that should have been it. That should have been it. But
You know
for
what?
Whatever. And here's the thing.
In this season, you're absolutely right, because we've had these worst case scenarios all fucking season long.
But the adjustments that Detroit made defensively were just off the charts, stupid good. But look, make no mistake, the Detroit kicker, who didn't even play college football, like, I'm just like, come on, man.
That was a
Dude.
hair. It literally kissed.
It kissed both uprights
Yeah.
in consecutive kicks, right goalpost, left goalpost. We didn't get the bonk or the boink, but I mean, you probably couldn't have passed a piece of paper between the ball and the goalpost on either one of those kicks. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God. Like watching that second kick sail through made me sick. I'm just like, damn it. So, but yeah, it was a good game to watch, but my God, that was rough. Yeah,
You can make diamonds in people's ass because of that game, clenching so hard. You know what I didn't know about about the Detroit Lions? They got this the coach has this like ritual about a brown shirt. And whoever does the best stuff in the game gets a brown shirt. Neat little thing. Little trivia.
It's the apparel version of the game stick.
Yeah. With the Shoresy reference coming in from left field. Good for you. That's what I appreciate about you, Chris.
Is that all you appreciate?
Oh, look, the carpet.
Go look at Shrek.
Your sister's hot. There, I said it. Not fun anymore.
Super hot person.
Okay, so the first game, Thursday night football, we've got the Commanders at the Eagles. Well, right now the Eagles have basically what amounts to is a half game lead in the division over the Commanders. This is a huge game, huge. And I'm really going to try not to make this a pick emotional, but I think that after having this this hot streak that the Commanders have been on, kind of halted for a minute, it's going to give them kind of a week to prepare and get their head around the fact that they do have shortcomings in their game that they need to fix. I think that they're going to come prepared when they show up to Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. I'm leaning. I think Washington's going to take this one, and that's where I'm leaning. Not because it's Philly, but just because it's, I think that that's going to be the mindset at the practice facility for the Commanders going into this game on Thursday night.
I can see this going both ways.
I can too, honestly. But as far as preparation is going to be concerned,
I
I
do think it would be Washington, though.
yeah, I mean, I think Washington really kind of wants it more.
But I will not be surprised if Philly does win.
What about you, David?
I'll take Washington.
Max? He's looking at his Gray's
I'll take
Gray's
the
almanac.
Eagles.
Yep, no, he's looking at his Gray's almanac there. All right, next up, we've got the Packers
I
at
feel
the
like
Bears.
it's going to be Eagles time.
Maybe, but like I said, I just my gut's telling me take Washington on that one. But moving on, Packers at the Bears. Like I said earlier, the Bears, they're just kind of they're all over the place.
Yeah,
They're
they're doing better than what
the
they did
line
last.
is not protecting their quarterback, and when he's put on the deck, they're not picking him up. They're
Yeah.
not the ones dusting him off. The opposition is.
Yeah, I'll take the Packers on this one.
Poochie's going to take him too, because
Yeah. He didn't do a list this week. I don't know what happened. He's not great. I gotta call him.
Everybody taking Green Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This next one's gonna be easy.
Oh yeah, this next one's
sir.
going to be real easy.
Yep.
Everybody's going to take Detroit. I'm just going to put that out there. I mean, unless Max is going to come at us with some kind of like Jacksonville, epiphany.
Nope. Everybody's going to the Lions.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's
5 seconds.
Okay. Raiders at the Dolphins. This is our irrelevancy game of the week, but I do think that the Dolphins are going to take this one.
Yeah.
Say you, Max.
With the Raiders because Antonio Pierce's job is on the line. So are a lot of other people's for next season.
Okay, you're taking
And
the
I
Raiders.
think that
All right. Okay.
there's a lot of people that want to stay with that organization. Raiders.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You're
It's
not
not
you're
emotional.
wrong on that one because Raiders are known to just fire people off in mid-season.
Well, everybody but Jerry Jones is known for firing people mid-season.
That is fucking true. The
Right.
one
Yeah.
team
If
you
you
want
see a
to have-
problem and you need it corrected, you do it right then and there.
Yeah.
Yep. This next one, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm pretty confident everybody, and I mean everybody, I'm looking at you, Colin, is going to take the Rams on this one.
Yeah.
Yay, barely.
Colin, seriously, you're taking New England on this one?
You know what? Let them.
Why,
Let's
why
get this.
not?
All right, you know what? Par for the course. It wouldn't be a week of NFL picks without some kind of squiffy sideways pick from my kid. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's his rebellion for you.
yeah.
It's just that.
Browns at the
Yeah.
Saints. I think as much as I hate to say it, New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
What did you say, Colin? You're going to go Cleveland? I think you're just doing that out of spite now.
No. Look.
You have a plan. Is the plan to fail? Because that's a plan.
You see. There's times where I'm the only one who's right.
Okay.
This
All
is
right.
not going to be
This
one of
is
those
gonna be
times.
most
Okay.
You never, dude. This football season is so.
He does have a point. Derek Carr could show up and first pass blows his elbow out and then takes a helmet to the knee and blows out his MCL, ACL, and pops his Achilles all at the same time. He could have a Joe Theismann injury on the first play of the game.
See, now that's gonna happen because you said it. So
You know what? If that does happen,
Oh.
if
Oh,
that
God.
does happen,
Yeah.
if that does happen, I will pimp myself out to the highest paying NFL organization for me to make that prediction for the opposing quarterback on air. Max, what about you? Taking New Orleans?
He's like,
I saw a shoulder shrug. So
yeah.
you know what? He's just going to take New Orleans. How about that? Ravens at the Steelers.
Definitely Saints.
I'm mad at the Ravens, but I'm not gonna do emotional pick. So I'm choosing the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm taking Baltimore in this one.
yeah, I'm on Baltimore too.
Dude, that 1 point.
What says you, Chris?
I really want to take the Ravens, but something is telling me screw it. I'm going to take the Steelers this one. Just
Okay.
I'll be the contrarian this time.
Okay.
Yeah,
And Matt,
I
you're
was
taking
yelling.
Baltimore also.
I was yelling at my TV during the Bengals game. Like I was yelling
I'm with
because like
Chris on this
Cooper,
one. Steelers, too.
like
You're
when
gonna take
the
Steelers too?
Yeah.
during
Okay.
that when it was almost an interception at the second quarter, I'm like, he was out of bounds. Check it. I was at the top of my voice.
I see, and I have this image of your mom listening to you yell at the TV, and then she comes in and sees you watching football. I can feel the force of the eye roll because
She's like she's a little off taken about it because she's like, you just not care about football at all. I'm like, well, okay.
but I have to
I
know
do
about
now.
it for the show.
I do now. It's piqued my interest. So
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so up next, you know what?
Vikings.
Vikings, absolutely.
yeah,
Vikings.
yeah.
See, Colin can jump back on the Vikings, bandwagon this week.
How do you get
How
on?
dare you? How dare you? Okay, look, I'm tired of people saying, okay, I picked the Vikings before they started winning. Before.
If I can find a good Viking helmet, I'm gonna get that for you for Christmas, just so that way you can put it on like Lee Corso on College game day. Max, you taking the Vikings?
Let's just, as much as I hate them, you take the Vikings this week. Randall
Okay.
Cunningham, auto.
Okay.
He says yes.
Okay.
Dude, the
All right.
I love the Vikings uniforms.
All right, the Colts at the Jets. It's funny because it wasn't until this past week that Daniel Jones finally joined the club of quarterbacks able to throw a touchdown at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
But
I'll take the Colts.
yeah, the Colts. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm taking the Colts on this one. I'm expecting Max to come in with like a Jets call from way on back.
I keep on every time Max tries to pick the Jets, I keep on remembering that who bets on the fucking Jets? They got it coming.
Every time I think about the Jets, I think of Big Daddy.
Big that. Oh yeah.
What are you watching? The goddamn Jets. Let me see here. Atlanta at Denver.
Atlanta. Not that I give a shit about either of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
You know what? Just out of pure spite, I'm gonna go with Denver.
You watch your tongue. I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
see,
Yeah,
now
you're
that
gonna
makes
let
me
your
want
mind
to
go, man.
change.
Hey, I haven't typed it in
I
yet.
get upset, just because I get
Oh,
upset.
sure. We're gonna do it. We're doing the Broncos. We'll do the Broncos.
Okay. Colin,
Oh,
I know
you
you're
hate-
picking the Broncos.
What? Yeah.
It feel right when I said it.
I know. You
I
watch
mean,
your
it
tongue.
left me feeling uncomfortable, like sitting in the back of a VW bug, but you know what? It's got to happen. Max,
Look, if
what
they
about
ca-
you?
With the donkeys, yes, I am.
Okay.
if they came close enough to beating the Chiefs as close as they did, I think they can beat the Falcons.
Oh, speaking of the Chiefs game, okay, so you know that female referee, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was seen before the game started, standing on the sidelines next to Taylor Swift, getting a selfie with her.
God.
Right. So everybody's like now, like, oh, Taylor Swift's, buying off referee. The games are rigged, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut up. Oh my God. Really? Just because she was there.
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
mean-
It's not.
whether or not you like Taylor Swift or not, whether or
I
not
kinda-
you, I mean,
I don't think it was, but I kind of hope it was. I kind of hope
well,
You know,
and,
it's not
and they
that-
could get caught. Yeah.
you know,
because I hope it was rigged because that means they couldn't beat the Broncos without cheating.
oh god.
Oh, the black helicopters are circling, boys.
Just the implication.
See,
Colin, what's that red
Sunny
dot?
in Philadelphia now. The implication.
the implications. I love that. Colin bringing some vocabulary to the show this week. That's
Colin,
absolutely.
what's that red dot on your forehead? They know.
That's the implications.
Like he drew the ire and the gaze of Max. It was awesome for a second.
Every Swiftie is gonna start doxing me. His friend.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's great. Hey, you know what? If they dox this house, that's fine because I've had conversations with some of the police officers here, and I was like, because I was asking about the paintball gun, right, versus using firearms, and they're like, I don't know, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, 911 is great. They said
Maybe.
muzzle velocity travels a lot faster than you guys do, and they were like, yes, it does. Hey, hold on just a second. I will be right back.
Sweet baby Jesus.
The Broncos did beat.
There's a
Kansas City
story
last
in
year.
Kansas City earlier about Taylor Swift when she was going to the game and getting driven by golf cart security to her seat. And as security was doing its job was, to make sure she gets to her location, destination securely through the tunnels, etc. They get
Mhm.
there and they're like, move, move, move. Taylor Swift's like, please. I would have been one of them security guys like, what? You security now? You want to do my job? Shut the fuck up. I got you here safe. Get your ass in your suite now and shut up, watch the game. Tell me how to do my job. Talk about please. Fucking lunatics are screaming, trying to fucking get at you everywhere they can. You want me to ask them, please stop? Man, shit. Idiots.
No, it's not what we're here to do. Absolutely not.
That's not what we're here to do. What do we do again?
Houston,
We're not here to keep you
Hawk,
safe. We're here to
number
keep you polite.
99. Yes, Texans should have won that game, but you know,
Wait,
That's-
Houston
I'm-
Sports Talk 99. What?
I don't know.
That's
This?
I think.
I don't know. It's fan. We keep on going. We don't ask questions, but
No. Is this like legitimate? Like Houston? Okay,
no,
never mind. You know what?
No,
We're gonna go with it.
I think that's Darius. You know, my friend.
okay.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not cleaning up my language. I'm just kind of putting that out there right now.
Anyways, next one's Seahawks.
Seahawks at the 49ers. You know what? Hey, Geno Smith, even though Geno Smith is kind of having a little bit of a renaissance resurgence, I think that the 49ers are going to get their act together. This is going to be week 2 of the McCaffrey return. I'm taking the Niners on this one.
Same.
David.
I already said it. The Seahawks.
All right, because reasons.
Yeah.
What about you, Colin?
49ers.
Okay, and Max?
Seahawks because, well, I'm taking the Seahawks. It's a feeling. It's old school. Go with your gut. And thank you
Okay,
for the chat
all right.
and all your comments. And thank you, viewers. I appreciate you guys just like we all do.
Yeah, I had to step away because I'm like, because you get those cramps and you think that either A, you're having a heart attack or you got to take a crap, right? So I'm in there and you get those toilet bowl farts.
Sometimes both could happen, like Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't eat fried banana and mayonnaise sandwiches. I that's not me.
Hearing the story on Elvis is just ridiculous.
I like to think that it's more of the Men in Black version where he didn't die, he just went home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that.
So I'm gonna say for this next one that the Bills might actually get the Kansas City their first loss of the season.
Yeah, see, this is a tough pick.
Yeah.
Because the Bills, sorry, dude, Max, I'm sorry, but the Bills own the Chiefs in the regular season.
I'm it's at the point where I want the Chiefs to lose. Like I just want them to lose at this point.
I think that Travis Kelce's going to get he's going to go north of 80 yards receiving. He's going to get himself a tutty next week, but they're going to take the L. I'm going Buffalo.
They almost lost to the Donkeys, so
that one.
What about you, David?
I'm going Bills.
Okay. Chris?
I think if there's any team that can hand them their first loss, it's going to be the Bills.
Okay. Colin, I know you said the Buffalo or the Bills, right?
Yep.
Max, you going to stick to your guns? You're going to go home team and you're going to take the Chiefs?
Let me just go on a quick 30-second rant, if I may. You have to understand that everybody that plays the Chiefs, that is their Super Bowl. That is their game. That is the one they have marked on their schedule. That is the one they want to win, and that is the one they want to win bigly. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Get those ridiculous thoughts out of your crazy heads. The Chiefs will not lose. And if they do lose, you're not going to lose to the shitty Bills with their folding tables of fire and fury and flames.
So if they do, Max,
Buffalo, which isn't even a real place.
If they do lose, Are you going to wear a Buffalo's Bill jersey for the show next week?
Ooh.
Because if the Chiefs win, I'll put
First off,
I'll put my Travis
I'm
Kelsey jersey
Soviet.
on for the show.
Max, the fact that they almost lost.
I'll tell
to
you
the
what I'll do.
Broncos, I feel like should be enough evidence to choose the Bills, and the implication that the refs were possibly on Kansas City side, meaning that they technically would have lost to the
Oh.
Donkeys.
God. You gotta get Max an
I'm going to
aneurysm.
clip you doing this segment right now. Then I'm going to play it back for you next Monday after I gloat and say, I told you, sons of bitches. You motherfuckers didn't listen.
I'm still
Yeah,
not
and then
hearing
when-
what you're going to have to do for us
all
if the
by
Bills
myself
win.
on Chiefs Island in Kansas City.
Yeah, but Max, what happens when
I'll tell you what,
we
I'll
win?
buy some Bills shit. Like, I don't know what Bills like.
Said
Like
when.
Buffalo wings? Like, what,
When.
go to Buffalo Wings?
No. I want to see
You want me to
you
like a
rock
chicken sandwich
Jared.
if the Bills win
I
or
want to
something?
see
Or
you.
not eat chicken for a week? Or
You know what? I'm not even going to make you wear a Bills hat. I'm not going to do that. At the very least, I want to see you rocking a Jared Allen T-shirt.
Oh.
That's kind of harsh.
Oh,
Kinda.
you see the air just kind of.
Yeah.
I want to see him rocking full blue and red. Yeah.
they would have lost to the Broncos if it weren't for the block? You don't think the other missed kick or anything would have had anything to do with it either? I'm just saying. The block didn't make it any better for the Broncos. But
Well, no, because had they made that other
listen,
previous,
I'll do whatever you guys say as long as it doesn't involve a dick in my
I let
mouth
you
or a
have your
dude.
30 to 45-second tirade. You're going to hear this for just a second because, you know, we can say, well, if it hadn't been for that block, well, what about that other missed kick? Well, if they hadn't missed that other kick, it could have affected the way that the remainder of the game from that point going forward had been played. So we will never know. So yes, the easiest for us to be able to go, or the easiest what if for us to play would be if they hadn't missed that last kick. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all anybody's ever going to remember.
Yeah.
That's just like you ask Tennessee Titans fans in the 2000 Super Bowl. Oh, we missed it by 1 foot. Well, it was about 1.5 feet. But yeah. What were they doing for the rest of the game? You know, that's kind of, you know, you ask Red Sox fans what happened in 86 after the Bill Buckner play. Okay, yeah, the series came back and was tied, and they had to go in and they had to win game 7. They still had a legitimate shot to win that series. Just like the Rangers had a legitimate shot to win that series after Nelson Cruz. Aaron judged the shit out of that pop fly.
Yep.
Okay. It's all about the last play. That's all anybody's going to remember. That's all anybody's going to care about. Hands down.
Yep.
Agree 100%. Everybody else has to understand that the Chiefs have yet to play their best football this season. They should probably be honestly 7-3 right now, but it's a game of inches. And the only stat that matters at the end of the game is the one on the scoreboard. Should they have lost some games? Could they have lost some games? Absolutely, 100%. But they didn't. And they haven't, and they're not going to lose to Buffalo.
Hey, you know what?
I'm not
We're
saying
not
they're
here-
going undefeated. I'm just saying they're not losing to Buffalo Wings.
Yeah, good point. You know, about the Mariners, but we're not here to bash. Excuse me, to bash on the Chiefs. We're not doing that. We've been giving the Chiefs their props all year long. Absolutely, 100%. If you go back and you look at the tape, you look at the previous picks for the last 10 weeks, everybody's been picking the Chiefs to win.
Almost unanimously.
Yeah.
It's
Almost
starting
unanimously. Absolutely.
I'm starting to see a pattern with the Chiefs. They're
But
they're
they're
kind of they're kind of winding down as
Well,
the
okay,
Chiefs
here's the
game
thing.
they play.
Here's the thing. Before
baseball.
Max has a chance to hit this point, let me see if I can predict this point. Okay, as I see him over there licking his lips. All right. Statistically, the odds of finishing a professional season undefeated, it's only been done twice in the course of the entire history of the NFL. The Dolphins, I think it was the 72 Dolphins, right? If I'm not mistaken. It was the 72 Dolphins, and then the 07 Patriots, okay? Even if they run the table during the regular season, okay? Statistically, the odds are stacked against them to complete the three-peat, okay? Can they get to the Super Bowl? Absolutely they can. Just like any other team in the AFC that qualifies for the playoffs. Maybe not the 6th seed, but hey, whatever. The point that I'm trying to make is that yes, it is a game of inches. Should they be anything but undefeated right now? Yeah, absolutely. The fact is they're still undefeated. The point that we're trying to make, though, is that, yeah, they added DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is finally starting to gel, and him and Travis Kelce are starting to get on the same sheet of music, and the timing is starting to get back into that groove. I don't know what Kelce's problem was this season, whether it's the Hollywood jet lag from, doing the grotesquerie to the Honey Nut Cheerios commercials. I don't know. Don't really care. He is, in fact, not smarter than a celebrity. But, when you get to that level of notoriety, you're going to have those distractions. They're just built into the lifestyle. They're a professional football team, and they play in a league where everything moves incredibly fast. I mean, if you remember, when Jimmy Johnson, that first Super Bowl year, he introduced what was it, the dime package for the defense? Nobody could figure that shit out. The next year, everybody was running the dime package. Everybody was running the dime.
Hey, I put the rest on the personal chat. I gotta go to bed.
Okay.
All right. Love you guys. Later.
Love you,
All
man.
right, later. Okay. All right. So, but yeah, week to week, these coaches, these defensive coordinators, these players, it's their responsibility to be as prepared as humanly possible. But for whatever reason, when you're talking about the dynamic between the Bills and the Chiefs, we're talking about the beginnings of we're going to see one of the better rivalries in football for probably years to come. Yes, the Bills, they are chippy at 8-2. They're probably punching above their weight right now. And that's just because offensively, they weren't what they were. Defensively, definitely not what they were. But it's just like the Army-Navy game. Both teams could be having an absolute shit year, but when they play each other, these dudes, those players leave it all out on the field.
They bring
Okay.
to both of them.
So this rivalry game, it's not even a division game. It's a rivalry game. 100% rivalry game. Either team can come out on top. This is absolutely true. Okay. The mathematical odds that these two are going to play to a tie, not going to happen. Okay. It would have to take some catastrophic outside of football things happening for it to happen that way. But I think that as long as Buffalo does not beat themselves with stupid penalties, they can come out on top, because they're, a lot of Kansas City's drives that should have stalled were extended because of stupid penalties, whether they be holdings or offsides or some kind of loose interpretation of defensive pass interference or illegal contact, right? But I think as long as the Bills play a clean game on Sunday, they have a better shot at beating the Chiefs than anybody has all year long. And that includes the Denver Broncos. That's just my 2 cents. But moving on, the next game on the docket is going to be the Bengals at the Chargers. The Bengals act like they're trying to play. They play like they're trying to figure something out. And, so it's you know, it's what's the word I'm looking for here? Um, I don't think it's enough though. With the way that the Chargers have been playing, the Chargers are playing a little bit of an inspired type of football. So I'm taking the Chargers on this next one.
Same.
I'm going Bengals.
Of course you are.
Whatever, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Max, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. And just real quick to touch on our last subject, and I'll leave the Chiefs alone. People in Kansas City and Chiefs fans, Chiefs Kingdom, Chiefs Nation, they know that Mahomes is a little slow stepping right now because of the ankle injury. We get that. We know that Wanye Morris is not doing his best as he was taken out of the game on that left tackle position, which didn't make things any easier for the Chiefs. And I'm not using these as excuses, but what I am saying is that Andy Reid will make the adjustments during now and the time the game starts to make sure that Patrick has the protection he needs, whether that means Carson Steele has to stay in and block. But the secondary of Buffalo versus the Chiefs wideouts with Juju potentially returning, it's going to be a long day for that secondary, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So this next game is the Monday night game. This is the Lone Star Showdown. We don't get these very often, but when they do, yeah, I'm taking the Texans on this one.
I can't wait to see the Cowboys get, once again, even more humiliated than they already are.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
No, I plus I think the Cowboys have pretty much hit rock bottom. I don't think
Brandon Aubrey is going to have himself a game, though. Brandon Aubrey is going to be responsible for 12 points, and he might be the one that generates all of the Dallas offense. Because Dak's out for the rest of the year.
That's how it's been the whole freaking time.
Dak's out for the rest of the year with that hamstring. He went in for surgery on it. Cooper Rush cannot read a defense to save his life. Oh, absolutely not. And Trey Lance, Why is he on the roster? You know, so I mean,
Why did you guys get rid of Will Grier? When you had Will Grier, I don't understand it.
Why does Jerry Jones do anything that he does?
Yeah, and, good point. I mean, the Texans edge rushers and the safeties. I mean, they're one of the best outfits in the AFC, and comparatively speaking, they are light years ahead of where Dallas is playing defensively right now. I mean, yeah, the Dallas just got back Micah Parsons, but Micah Parsons was, I mean, I think maybe he might have had his name mentioned last night or yesterday, probably 3 times the whole game. I don't see him being. Yeah, I mean, the offensive coordinator. The problem with Houston is the fact that the offensive line, when they get out of sync, they really get out of sync and they turn into a sieve and they just let everything through. It's like, you know, they try to be that pocket of protection for the quarterback, but it's like wearing a condom to a Playboy Playmate party. Just everything's going to get through. I'm just kind of putting that out there. But yeah,
I think Jerry Jones is probably going to meet Jesus before he sees another championship.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, and here's the thing, okay? Not to bag on Cowboys Nation at all, okay? Because obviously he brought 3 Super Bowls under his watch. okay, to the Dallas area.
I'm sorry, he didn't do that.
But let me. Yeah, I was about to correct myself. He enabled, or he bought the opportunity for three more Super Bowls. Okay. Now, the problem with Jerry Jones has been well documented. Jerry Jones's biggest problem is Jerry Jones. Now, do I think, and would I hope for Cowboys Nation that they'd be able to, I don't know, live a Cowboys Super Bowl experience in the next 5-6 years? I think it's feasible. But the Jones family is going to have to realize that the reason why all of these other organizations do so well, especially on draft day, is because their owners are not in the war room. And yeah, I know, I get it. It's all synonymous and it's been going on for 30, 40 years now, where, it's been Jerry Jones making that phone call. Hey, so-and-so, you want to be a Cowboy? It's like, is this a trick question? Are you going to be making calls from the owner's suite? Then no, I don't want to be a Cowboy. I would love to hear somebody say that. I really would, but
Like a Dallas Cowboy?
I mean, that person would either be vilified horrendously, or he would be tabbed a hero, like be worshipped almost on a messiah level by the other teams in the NFL.
Depends on which team you're talking about, because some of them would absolutely welcome him in. Others would crucify him. And Jerry Jones would do his best to blacklist him.
Oh yeah, he would. He absolutely would. But I don't know. It at the end of the day, as far as Monday night's game is concerned, I have zero faith that the Dallas Cowboys are going to figure it out. I think the Houston Texans are going to roll into Arlington, and they're going to hold on to that silver boot for a couple of years.
It's going to be another at least 12-point game.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm calling my shot. I think Brandon Aubrey is going to make up a majority. Right? Yeah, he's going to make up a majority of the Dallas offense, because they're going to get down to the red zone. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot with a holding penalty, maybe a couple of false starts here and there, but they're not. I mean, Dallas might not break the 5-yard line with the way that they've been playing offensively, and I'm not saying that to be horrible or mean. I'm just with what they've been putting together. There's absolutely no reason to think that they're going to do anything but that.
Yep.
Because unlike other organizations, when the Dallas Cowboys start to go sour, everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. And the only people that don't see it are the ones in the locker room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there is absolute blood in the water.
I think that they need to start simple. Stop giving tours to the practice facility during the fucking week.
You won't see it.
Oh, I know they won't.
Jerry Jones feels that is a moneymaker. And if there's anything that has even the possibility of making Jerry Jones money, that is what it gets prioritized.
Yeah. So, Max, you taking Houston also?
Playing. I realize that Cooper Rush has as much talent as a pug trying to throw a football. I understand that Trey Lance is not the answer, but I also realize the fact that this is the house that Jerry built. And when I saw clips and screaming, "Cowboys suck! Cowboys suck!" I just picture people coming to my house for like a football watch party, and the team's losing, like, "Max, you suck! Max, you suck!" And I'm like, "Fuck you!" But
But
yeah, I'm
here's
going
the
for Houston.
thing.
I just wanted to say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Houston's going to beat
yeah.
the shit out of
Here's the thing. People have been coming into the house that Jerry built and have been disrespecting the entire organization to include Jerry's, well, not Jerry's wife. They give her props. But that's the only adulation that's being received remotely close to the Dallas Cowboys in that house. And it's been like that for a couple of years now. And you saw it even last year whenever the Cowboys won their division. Okay.
There's
You had a lot of these people, to include staff, employees of the team, that were like, we got this division. I don't expect too much out of the playoffs. Everybody knew. We you hope for the best, prepare for the worst, that kind of a deal. It's like, I mean, it's almost like getting ready for an Article 15 hearing. Like, you go in there prepared to make your case, but that the die is already cast. Your butthole is going to be a little bit bigger going out than it was going in. So yeah. But I'm going to get these picks converted over to a PDF, and I'm going to get those sent over to David tonight or tomorrow. It was funny because he's like, or the other day, he goes, "Oh, I need the picks."
Just
and I was like,
send them to me because I'm the one who ends up holding.
okay, just send them to the show's account.
You could do that or text them to me, whatever's easy for you.
Yeah,
You can email them, and I get the same email as Dave gets. So
yeah, no, it's fine. I'll just do what I've been doing. Okay, so now comes to the point of the show.
The thing about the Dallas Cowboys is,
Okay, now,
sorry, Johnny. The last thing I was going to say about the Cowboys was when the opportunity was there to get players that you needed to have, especially in the running game, which you desperately need in order to passing game. People like, I don't know, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, these individuals that were available, you decided not to take them, and that's a big reason why your quarterback's injured and you can't fucking throw a touchdown pass to save your life. Stupid decision making or not making decisions has hurt the Cowboys, and it's going to continue to do so until somebody reins Jerry Jones's old crazy senile Joe Biden asses in. Boom.
yeah, and I agree with you 100% on that, Max. I do. Like I said earlier, the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is systemic. It is on every level of the organization. Something needs to be done wholesale. We're not talking about an overhaul. We're not talking about throwing a fresh coat of paint on it. We're talking strip that thing down to the chassis frame, blast it, powder coat it, and build it from the frame up. And it might take 5 or 6 seasons for them to get to a point where they can become perennial playoff team. It might take that. It's going to be, unfortunately, a while for the Dallas Cowboys to experience any kind of postseason success that's measurable. But it's not going to be with Dak Prescott behind, under center. I don't know who it's going to take. It might be one of these up-and-coming kids. I mean, for all we know, Arch Manning may become the next Dallas Cowboy quarterback. We don't know. But, obviously, as they always say, time will tell. But moving on from football, it's that time. I know we've got a few new listeners out here. This is the part of the show that we try to get to pretty early. You'll notice that Colin is on the screen. He is my 15-year-old son. He has a segment every week that we affectionately refer to as Joke Time with Colin. And are you got your stuff ready to go, bud? Okay. And without further ado.
Rising from the smoke and haze of desolation comes a Spartan, He is bent on wronging that which has been set right. It's the greatest genetic code ever to exist here for your ears and eyes to feast upon. Spartan Colin, I hope you're bringing the smoke tonight. Someone get me a joke.
What can a male teacher say in the classroom and when he's having sex? I better wrap this up or else you'll miss your next period.
Oh my God. Ah,
Oh, man.
I mean, accurate.
I will get to your question here in just a minute. Oh my God. Okay, you got anything else tonight?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's a shame David went to bed early.
Oh, he's probably listening because he just
Good.
sent something to our Facebook Messenger thread.
Uh-huh.
He's
Good.
wide awake right now.
What's the difference between a joke? 3 dicks. David can't take a joke.
Mm,
Oh my God.
damn. Ooh,
Woo, shots fired, boy.
that got a little spicy.
Oh Lord. There was definite so there was no consent there at all. Oh my God.
He,
At least not by David's part.
he went full Diddy.
Oh, was that it for you this week?
Dude, did he if you want to?
Oh, he's got more. Oh, Colin's got the smoke this week. Okay, go ahead.
What's slim, cold, long, and smells like pork? Kermit the Frog's finger.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yep.
Kermit the Frog here.
Welcome all new angry faithful. This is what we do.
Oh Lord. Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh.
We pray to
Slipping
Jesus.
out through the fog of war, this Spartan continues the fight. Your souls have become collateral damage in the battle against the flood of moral supremacy. Leave your expectations at the door on your way out and marvel before the pillar of tactical prowess. Ladies and gentlemen, angry faithful of all ages, this has been Joke Time with Colin.
That was
that was
spicy this week, bro.
solid outing this week.
Good night. Oh. Yes. All right. So Houston Sports Talk, he fielded the question. He knows that it's early, but with the way that the Texans have been playing so far, or with the way that they've been playing, how far do we think that they would get in the playoffs? Honestly, it's just going to depend on their seeding. I mean, obviously, some paths to the AFC Championship game are going to be easier than others. I think that with the way that things are currently, it's almost a surefire bet that the NFL is trying to track the AFC bracket to where we see a rematch of last year's AFC game, which means that the lower seeded teams are going to have to go through Kansas City, and the second lower seeded teams are going to have to go through Baltimore. I think that the Texans are going to far and away they're going to walk away with the division again this year, which is going to get them. If they can continue trending the way that they have been, I would even go as far as to say that they might end up finding themselves either second or third seed at this point, because it would take a monumental collapse on the part of the Kansas City Chiefs to find themselves anything lower than the number 1 seed in the AFC. No, I would say statistically, it's probably not going to happen. But we saw what happened to Philadelphia last year. So, but I think that the Texans are probably pretty spot on for at least a number. At I would say at best a number 2, at the very minimum a number 3 seed. They're going to have to really shit the bed these last couple of weeks, or this last, was it probably month and a half of the season, in order for them to fall any lower than a number 3 seed. But yeah, I look for them to at the very least get past the wild card weekend if they don't earn themselves a wild card weekend bye. That divisional game, though, depending on who they're matched up against, that could be a tall order, especially if they're going to be playing the Ravens. They're going to have to tighten up. They're going to have to tighten their shot groups real snug between now and then. But I don't know. They get hot at the right time. I mean, they could probably find themselves playing for a trip to the Super Bowl. And that's really kind of what I'm seeing. Are they good enough to get to the Super Bowl? I mean, yeah, they can be. But I think it's going to have to go through Kansas City first.
The top 4 teams, I think, that, well, at least right now, that stand a chance at the Super Bowl are most likely Texans, Lions, Vikings, and Kansas City.
You're putting the Texans above the Ravens? Well, okay. Now let me back up. And Max, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The Ravens, their vertical game is really starting to pick up speed.
I could see how they could make it to the Super Bowl.
But their ground game, the Ravens, the biggest problem for the Ravens last year was they had no running game. They went out and picked up Derrick Henry. So, I don't know. I'm not saying that Derrick Henry is invincible, because he is not. He is very, very. I mean, teams are very capable of tackling him, especially with the edge rushers that Houston has. That would be a close game, and I mean, yeah, I would love to see Houston knock off Baltimore for a chance to play for the AFC title. Because I've been saying it for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons. The Houston Texans have been kind of quietly under the radar, been rebuilding their organization, making a lot of the right moves. Going out and getting DeMeco Ryans for the head coach, shoring up their receiving core, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. They went out and got Stephon Diggs, although he's out for the rest of the year with the ACL tear. And Joe Mixon. Oh boy, that's a big boy right there. But they finally, this experimental phase with quarterbacks, I think, is finally behind them. They've got a good franchise quarterback in CJ Stroud. The defense is really, for the longest time there, when JJ Watt was playing, he was their marquee guy. When you were talking about the Houston defense, that's all you would talk about is JJ Watt. But now you've got other names out there, so I think they're more well-rounded as a football team. And I think they're going to be dangerous, and they are going to be a pain in the ass for a lot of teams for a few seasons to come. Their championship window is, I would suspect that their championship window is going to start closing probably in the next 2 or 3 seasons. So they're going to have to capitalize quickly.
Here's what I see for the Ravens. I do see them making it far, but I do also feel like they could probably slip up on the way somewhere.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean everybody can. I mean, you look at like last week, Houston against the Jets. On paper, and every money line, every Madden simulation,
Wasn't last
they
week.
decimate the Jets, but they just showed up and played flat last week, and they got embarrassed by the New York Jets. Losing on a last second field goal to the Lions.
That was week 9. Last week was week 10.
Yeah. Right, but when they lost to the Jets, that was an embarrassment for them. They were on a bye week last week, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, they dude.
No,
played
you're right.
the
You're right. You're right.
Lions.
You're right. You're right. Never mind. But yeah, and I think that I think as far as CJ Stroud is concerned, I think that the environment that he has found himself
Still
in,
on rookie contract, so it hasn't had.
yeah, he's still on a rookie contract, but with the environment that he's landed in here in Houston, it's one that is going to be advantageous for him to stay in. Now, will they pay him the premium dollars? Probably. They're going to have to do some serious finagling because they're going to have other players that they're going to have to try to figure out a way to pay. But I think CJ, you never know. CJ Stroud may take the Tom Brady route as far as contracts are concerned. He may take a pay cut in order to sign players around him that's going to help him win a championship. But yeah,
Same as Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes does, and then that's the sign for me in the NFL in a day and age where, you got guys that are making more money than they're worth. I'm looking at you, CeeDee Lamb. But when you got a guy who knows that he can land that contract somewhere else, he takes a pay cut for the team that he's with to ensure that they can get players around him. That's the sign of a leader. And there is a reason why CJ Stroud in his, that he was voted captain for a reason. And he did. He changed the culture for a lot of fans and a lot of players. And on the organizational level, he did change the culture here in Houston. And it's been nice to see, because really the Texans for the longest time, they were a team that people just went to go see for something to do on Sundays. And now it's an event. People go because they're genuinely excited about this team. What was it? Last season, I think it was.
They would watch them.
Well, no, that wasn't last season. It was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I went to opening weekend against the Colts, and they played to a tie on opening weekend. It was, you could hear a pin drop walking out of NRG. But as far as being made fun of for being a Houston fan, when I first moved down here to this area, and even before then, I was very anti-Houston. Very anti-Houston. Now, I'm in no way, shape, form, or fashion doing the whole Homer route and changing my alliances. Now, I mean, if you've watched this show for a while or you know me personally, the football is kind of a secondary thing for me. I'm more of a baseball guy, and I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. Have been my entire life. But with the it just kind of being down here, being in this environment and having the ready access to places like Minute Maid, places like Constellation Field, over there in Sugar Land, places like NRG, I'm being exposed to more of the culture down here. I like the Astros, but I mean, they're more my JV team. If I had to settle on a football team, honestly, just by attrition, I mean, my wife is a Cowboys fan, so by default, I have to be a Cowboys fan. But I find myself becoming more and more of a Texans guy because this team is genuinely exciting to watch. I mean, week in and week out. Meaning, even when the game where they were just shooting themselves in the foot left and right against the Jets, we saw those shortcomings and was like, okay, that's something that can be fixed. It sucks now, but it's something that can be fixed. But I don't know. It's one of those things where, years and years ago when the Astros were bought by that by their current owner, and he rebranded the team, came in, and one of the first things that they did was they drafted Jose Altuve, and he's become the anchor for the team, even though lately he's just been kind of flailing at the plate. He's too good of a player to keep down. I told people this was probably back 2015, 2016. I was telling, like 2013, 2014. I told him, I was like, look, you watch. The Astros are going to start getting good. They're going to get scary. They're going to get scary really fast. And then they went on that consecutive run of ALCS appearances. Honestly, they had no business being in the playoffs this year. I'm just kind of calling that what it is, because they were injured. They were just kind of in their own way. And with their current manager, I don't look at him being like, the mainstay. I mean, if he's here for another season or two, great, but he's not going to be the permanent fixture. I think that, when the Tigers came in and AJ Hinch, put his old team to bed, I think that was kind of finally closing the book on the 2017 squad, and all of the doubt and the hate just needs to be finally put to rest. I mean, even though they do live rent free in Brian Cashman's head, but as far as the Texans are concerned, they're going to be consistently good, and they're going to get better for the next 3 or 4 seasons. But I do think that their championship window is going to start closing. So they need to start making some really bold moves, and I mean bold moves to shore up both sides of the ball. I like Kami Fairbairn as their kicker. The guy, he's got 1150 plus yard kicks so far this year. He's tied for the most in NFL history right now. He's just got to put one more 50 plus yarder through the uprights to take the all-time record. Yeah, Pat McAfee, absolutely. I mean, the Texans were a dumpster fire, and you kind of saw the writing on the wall. You knew JJ Watt was going to leave whenever he would back before Deshaun Watson got caught for doing all of his happy endings at the local massage parlors.
Massage activities.
Yes, massage activities. Thank you. His MAs. He at the end of the season one year, he told Deshaun, he goes, "Sorry, we wasted another year of your career." And that, to me, that speaks volumes, right? So, you keep DeMeco Ryans. That dude's got something figured out. He's got pride with this organization. Having snagged him away from San Francisco to come coach here was a windfall for Houston. And that signaled the beginning of the culture change. And they just added on to it whenever they drafted CJ Stroud. And, so it's there are people now in the league that want to come play in Houston. They want to play for Coach Ryans. They want to play with CJ Stroud. And I think that that's a culture that's very infectious and infectious in a good way. So, yeah. With JJ Watt, I would love to see him become a linebacker coach, honestly, or a defensive coach or a lineman coach. Because if they're good now, you get somebody with his football IQ teaching them how to do it better. Oh, scary good. But we're coming up. We're past the 2 hour and 14 minute mark. We're fixing to come up on 2:15.
Quick,
We are about 9:45, and there are some
real
of us who have got things to do in the morning.
Yeah, hold on, real quick though.
Yeah, what's up?
Before this season, I didn't really care about football much, and thanks to this show, I've gotten kind of into it, and I'm finding myself each time I watch a game or I'm doing the picks and for reading off the games, I'm finding myself enjoying it a lot more, and football has become somewhat important in my life now, and it's fun talking about it. And besides the Vikings and at the beginning of the season, the Vikings, the I would pick them more as like a, oh well, just says you, but the Texans, I'm starting to kind of I'm rooting for them. I want to see them go places. I want to see them do good, and it'd be great if they could make it to
Yeah.
even close to the
But with
Super
that
Bowl.
being said, for you new listeners, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for the notification, turn them on. You'll get notified before we go live every week. Monday evening, 7:30, like clockwork, Nerd Sports. Check out our webpage, angrymeatproduction.com. Hit us up on our social media pages. And yeah, definitely get the word out. If you like what you see, awesome. If not, hey, you know what? At least you were here. Past that, it is what it is.
We appreciate the engagement.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate the engagement because whether you like us or not, guess what? You're engaging anyway. So, and trust me, I've been called everything but a white man and a Christian, and I've answered to less. So, it is what it is. But with that being said, I am your host, Lord Johnny Skelton.
I am Chris Jacka.
Prince Colin Skelton. Give it a sec.
Waiting for it. You know what? I'm going to take that. Okay.
Yep.
The lag is real this week for you, Max.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. Max handles our midday shows for the Nerd Sports. He handles a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah,
Also our basketball guru.
Yeah, he's also our basketball guy. So, but again, thanks for tuning in. This has been episode 186 of Nerd Sports. You have become privy, I would dare say indentured. Welcome to the life of servitude. And in the words of the immortal lesbian pirate bearded clam, scissor me timbers. Arr.